It's time to crab in this Crab Collab episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. I don't know if you remember, there was a past episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series that was all about crabs, and just the word Crab Collab excited me. And this one excites me more because there's a very special reason why, which I have mixed feelings about. We'll see. But hey, you can stay tuned for that surprise later in the episode. We're covering a bunch of different crabs in this bonus episode this week of the Bionicle Inspiration series. If you're watching this when it comes out, yes, you get an extra episode this week. You might even get extra stuff this week. I'm feeling generous. So enjoy some bonus content this week. Let's move over to all these different crabs in this show where we spotlight MOCs from the Bionicle community. In this specific episode, we're spotlighting a collab from the community, and we're going to take a look at a specific topic and give you some inspiration if you want to build something similar. The very first crab we have in the Crab Collab is by Patron, and this is Pancake Crab. I adore this so much, I put it in the thumbnail. The angry eyebrows are probably my favorite feature. There's something about eyebrows on MOCs which I love. The fact that it just has so much attitude with those eyebrows. He looks upset. He looks like he wants to rock and roll and stick it to the man and have a good time. It's great. So just the inclusion of those eyebrows really sells this and adds so much character to this. But even certain other details like the brilliant mohawk and the idea of making that magenta? I don't know what color that is. It's those Friends colors, man. One day I'm gonna just have to sit down and just learn them. There's so many it gets confusing. Whatever shade of pinky purple that is, really pops against the blue. It's a great idea, great color choice. And some other details that continue that kind of punk rock aesthetic and give this MOC so much a personality is the inclusion of some bracelets. Specifically an inverted tire, I do believe, on the one hand there with some rubber bands in red. And then some rubber bands in white on the other hand using this gold, like, spiky piece here. I'm not too sure where this comes in gold, but I know this piece comes in a bunch of different Mario sets. I think that's maybe where it originated from. So it's a great little piece there, and really makes this MOC. I think it's a brilliant little detail there. So love this crab here by Patron. Let's move over now to the next MOC. This is by my friend Madison, who I had very much enjoyed hanging out with at Brick Fair, Virginia. And Madison has built a Pancake Crab. So something that I think is so interesting and unique about this specific collab. Sure, it's all fun and games and whatever to just build a basic crab, but it's so much better when you give that crab a really unique something. And obviously the idea here of making it a pancake, there's no other way to word that, is awesome. What a great idea. And also Madison whipped this up really quickly, which is also really nice to know. She just sort of sent a message over on Discord and was just like, I'm building a crab and here we go. So awesome work in such a short period of time as well. I love the sort of 1x1 black clip piece with the sort of a bar connector on the end there, using that for the eyes of the crab. The eyes of the crab, that sounds like a really terrible 80s song. Anyway, I love that piece. To me, I don't know, that looks exactly like crab eyes. Just a brilliant little part use there. And just the general kind of face area, the fact that he has little chubby cheeks and a little derpy smile, and even the way his little hands are sort of situated near his mouth. He's like, I can't wait to have some breakfast. It's going to be good. He just seems so happy. It's so nice. So again, a lot of personality in this guy. I love it. This MOC was also built digitally, as you can most likely tell here. And again, that was to save time because of Madison not having a huge amount of time to build this, but still managed to sneak it in. Go her. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If you want to participate in a collab like this, but you're a little bit limited on time, it's getting close to the deadline or whatever, yeah, just build digitally and that can work. I love the syrup, just using a bunch of no, that word did not come out properly. Using a bunch of trans orange pieces didn't do my articulation exercises before I started recording, so I stumbled over that. It works really well, especially in this digital render here. It looks a little bit less orange and a little bit more syrupy, I guess. So it's a great little choice there. And then the butter on top as well, beautiful. So adore this crab. Let's move over to the next crab in the Crab Collab. This is by Patrick Biggs, and this is Crab Apple Guardian. So this kind of gives me Castle in the Sky, Studio Ghibli vibes. This really reminded me of the robots in that movie, the ones you're seeing now. Just this kind of like blend of like organic and mechanical. I don't know, it's just really cool. And I mean, it even says Guardian in the title, so maybe that is the inspiration. I actually have no idea. But yeah, I love this. Just this beautiful kind of color contrast here, I think really pops. And yeah, like maybe you could have made this like brown or something else, and it's just sort of like an earthy crab with a tree growing out of it or something. But it's almost that kind of like Nature Finds a Way, where there's like a plant growing out of concrete or some crazy weird place or something like that. So yeah, I don't know, that color contrast really grabs me with this. I love it. It's also really cool to see some more brilliant crab eyes. These are just with some ball joints here, but I don't know, it kind of gets the job done. It's kind of nice. I also like how he's done the shell on this crab here. The fact that it's almost this sort of like square border of sorts. I don't know, there's something about it I just like. It's just a bit more distinct and different, Most crab shells are more sort of like circular, I guess. I don't know, I like that that's really square. Just, I don't know, gives him more personality, makes him a bit more unique. It's cool. So, hey, Patrick's a really cool guy, and this is a really cool mock. On to the next one. This is by Corn Builder, another great person. So many people I've met in person. I haven't done a Biss episode where I've been like, I know that guy. It's so nice. Built by Corn Builder, and this is Tomato Crab. I'm gonna read the description for this because it really helps with the mock, I think. It says, a mischievous crab who sneaks into farmers' markets to pinch ankles and steal tomatoes. That's nice. You can see it, He doesn't have a shell, he just wears a basket. And you're like, oh, that's just a normal basket. And next thing you know, you're getting robbed. It's great. What I like about this one, it's just tiny, it's small, doesn't use a lot of pieces and stuff. And, like I said before, entering these collabs is a good bit of fun. So, the fact that you can just build something small, build something that has, kind of minimal pieces, you don't have to, order any parts or go out and buy anything. But you still get to join in on the fun, build some stuff with some nice people and have a good time and all that. That's kind of what it's all about, It's a good sort of sense of community there, which I quite like. So yeah, I don't know. To me, that's lovely. And why not do something like that? If you do want to enter, but you're a little worried, you don't have time, you don't have the pieces or whatever, this is a nice little happy medium there. I also like here the fact that you can totally see how the eyes are tomatoes. There's greenery everywhere else. Even the claws could be little sort of like, plant stems or leaves or whatever. But also, if you told me that was none of this, I'd still believe that, I don't know, it's a crab that's got, cool looking pincers and just sort of like, I don't know, detailing around the eyes or something, and he's evil, he's got red eyes, whatever. I don't know, it's nice. It works on kind of two different levels there, that it fits its description, but it could be something else. That's at least what I see, but I really like that. And a nice little part use too with the basket piece there, sort of minifigure basket for... Well, a basket. That's not. I guess it's not really a nice part use when you use a piece as it's intended. But it's being used as a crab shell, so it's a nice part use there. Regardless of what it is, I like it. It's a good job, Corn Builder. On to the next mock. This is by Matt Goldberg, another person I had the privilege of meeting, and this is called Unpotted Crab, which implies the existence of a potted crab. I wonder what that looks like. Maybe you could build it. Anyway, I like this because crazy cool colors. If I'm not mistaken, Matt said he built this specifically because he recently did a lug bulk order, and in that order he ordered a bunch of different, brightly colored plant pieces and stuff, and so he wanted to start putting it to use in a mock, which is a great idea. Maybe you've bought a set recently, maybe you've done a bricklink order, maybe you're a part of a lug and you did a lug bulk order, or whatever, and you've just come across a good splattering of nice new pieces. And if you're like me, you just like having pieces. It's just fun. Sometimes I guess I just collect pieces. And that can be its own fun thing in itself. But there's definitely times you have a drawer of pieces and you're like, one day I'll use that drawer. In fact, I did a lug bulk order years ago with a bunch of those leaf pieces that you see here in that same cursed purple color that I don't know its name. Magenta. I'm going to just say it's magenta. I bought a bunch of those in orange, and they've sat in a drawer for years. I have mocks in mind that I want to build them with. I just haven't got to them yet. I've started them, I just haven't got to the part where the leaves are needed. But yeah, if you've got some of those pieces lying around, use them as impetus to build, because you might already be excited to use them and you're like, oh, I'll do it one day. Now's the time. Or, I don't know, you're just excited to have them. Brainstorm what you could do with it. In this sense here, crabs don't normally have a bunch of flowers on their back. They normally are potted, but this one here is unpotted and has plants growing on its back. So I like that. So I don't know, a nice story of how this mock came to be, which I think is sometimes just as important as the different techniques and parts used and things. Speaking of Harry Potter, where I try to make a terrible joke because this is unpotted. Anyway, this mock uses some pieces from a Harry Potter set and a bunch of other different sets for the feet, leg things on the crab. These interesting pieces which are often used in sort of like trees and different things, but again, they come in a variety of different things. It's just nice to see them. They're a relatively new piece. I think they've been out for a few years now. I don't know. But they look really nice here. And there's something about them that looks a little bit more like roots, or, it seems a bit more sort of like earthy and naturey, which kind of makes sense. The fact that this crab itself is, the color of dirt, it's very brown and stuff, and then there's all the plants growing on top of it. It just seems fitting color scheme-wise, so it's very nice. The popping white eyes are also a nice contrast there. It's very cool. So, yeah, really, really nice use of pieces, and some great inspiration behind why it was built. Oh boy, alright, here we go. This is a mock by some guy. I built this one. You've asked for this for, 200-300 episodes now. I've lost count. Where you're like, hey Ben, why don't you put your own mocks in? For years I've avoided it, but they pull me back in. I had to do it because I was like, I can't wait to cover this Crab Collab. Oh wait, I'm in it. So I built this. It's called MCC Exploration Crab suit. I normally don't like putting my own stuff on the Bionicle Inspiration series because it's not about me, it's about other people. And this could be your mock up here instead of mine, you know what I'm saying? So maybe you should enter a collab and then I'll have to put your mock on. But I will talk about it. I'll probably do a separate video about this crab, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's teal. I love teal. I've never really built anything with teal per se, or at least where teal's a sort of major color. So I was very excited to use some teal. These sort of circular pieces that make up the sort of shell there, kind of around the fish bowl, those are on the Pick-a-Brick wall recently, and that was sort of the main inspiration for this crab. Again, very similar to what I was saying before, I didn't want this to just be a normal crab, because that's nice and all, but I was like, that's kind of boring. I want to have some sort of unique touch to it. So as I was just kind of playing around with pieces, I realized, hey, these sort of circular ball cockpit pieces, they fit very nicely sort of into the natural hole in those teal sort of circular, those 4 circular pieces that make up that sort of circle there. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to put a fishbowl in it. Why not? So, yeah. And, I got a bit of help from Mr. Alex Mox. He recommended making those eyes Keat orange, and he likes the idea of almost sort of like surgical weapons for the pincers, which didn't really become surgical weapons, but that was certainly the inspiration behind them being a little bit more sort of like thin in that sense. So, yeah, that's my crab. There's a lot more I could actually say about this. There was a lot of fun stuff in the process, but you can wait for a separate video on that, because then we'll be here for 4 hours, and I still got like 4 or 5 other crabs to talk about. So there you go. I don't think this is ever going to happen again, but there's a mock from me. Enjoy. All right, speaking of enjoying stuff, this is a mock by Cody Avery, another fine gentleman. And Cody has built a crab called CR4B0. I love this. Bit of a more of a sort of like robotic take on a crab here. This awesome pop of spring green on the knees there. I like it. I don't know what it is, but it's cool. I kind of like see him wearing like knee pads. He's got really like fluorescent knee pads on, and he's just really proud of it or something. That's what I like to imagine it is. It's probably just the mechanical detail that the designer picked. In the universe that this crab exists in, I'm sure Cody just liked spring green and thought it looked nice with the color scheme, which it does. But I'm trying to justify it with a story or something. But very fine, nice looking detail. I love these sausage eyes, using a black sausage minifigure sausage piece there for the eyes of the crab. Again, looks very, very appropriate and very fitting for the eyes of a crab. I love how that looks. I also love, too, the inclusion on the sort of bottom of the little crab feet pincer things. The fact that he's used some of these ski pieces here. They're kind of perfect for that sort of like robotic looking design of sorts. So just a really smart piece to use. If you have some and you want to build something more robotic, maybe grab some and use them, because like we can see here, it's a really nice inclusion. The pincers are lovely. There's something about them that looks a little bit more robotic, or just sort of like like the jaws of life that you see like firefighters using to break open cars or something. It looks more mechanical, which is awesome. Something about the sort of like bulkiness of it's really nice. And my favorite little detail is a little data pad at the top there, on the top of the shell, that little printed piece. You can kind of just see it from this image here. It's nice. It's just fun. It's a cool little detail. So that's a great crab from Cody the Crab Man. And let's move over now to a mock by Mr. Brickelson. And this is Blossom Shell. I love how different this one is. Obviously, it has that sort of plant theme, which is a little bit more similar to Matt's crab. But what's nice about this is the sort of like absurdity of it, and I mean that in a nice way. You know, it's got two goofy-looking eyes that are asymmetrical. It doesn't even necessarily, like, I don't know, the eyes are just a part of the shell, and it's got, you know, plants growing out of its back and stuff. I don't know, there's something about it that's so wonderful and unique, which I love. And there's also a lot of different great part usages on it, you know, all these different, like, mushrooms and things, which I think some of those pieces are from the Trolls Lego sets. I think, I don't fully know. But we've also got, like, blades of grass that are literally, like, Ninjago sword katana blades. It's awesome. I love, too, the pincers, that they kind of just look like little tulips, or a little sort of like flower of sorts, or it could actually be little pincers, and the fact that it's grey is that they're actual pincers or whatever. Either way, it's a nice way of sort of justifying it in with that sort of plant context. It's really nice. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something so vibrant and beautiful about this. The fact that the colors really sort of stand out when you compare them with the others in this collab here is really nice. You know, there's something nice just about people using big, bright, bold colors instead of sticking with your grays and your blacks, which are a little bit more common to see. Nothing wrong with them, of course, but seeing big, bright, colorful MOCs is always a very pleasing thing. So I applaud Mr. Brick Brickelson here for really playing with a sort of more out there, unique concept and making a brilliant crab as a result. So very different, but very, very nice. On to the next one. This is by Roses Must Build, and this is Sakura Crab. Roses Must Build also is the guy who entered the Lighthouse set that just came out into LEGO Ideas. So hey, go buy that Lighthouse, and then you can support this builder, because he's a real cool guy, and he made a really cool entry that got, obviously then got rebuilt by LEGO designers and stuff, but still, it's his idea. It's cool. Anyway, I love this. It's very unique, because this one is more of a sort of humanoid crab, whereas the rest were just crabs. So that's pretty cool. I love all the different crazy face details on this crab. You know, when you look at a real crab, it's pretty accurate. It's pretty cool. The big, awesome whiskers, the weird, mouthy things. I don't know. It's great. It's awesome. And again, some more brilliant crab eyes here, using the Baraki eye pieces in black, I believe those are. And it's fun. I've been saying that with most of these crabs. I'm like, oh, I love this eye design. It's really cool to see so many unique ways of doing eyes for crabs. And all of them have been really nice techniques that look exactly like crab eyes. But all of them have been using different pieces there. So it was pretty cool. I love this sort of mesh of like lily pads and other sort of like moss and swampy stuff on his back here, and this sort of like tree growing out of it there. Such a fun little detail. It's a nice way of kind of doing a shell that isn't a shell. Again, this is what I was talking about at the start of the episode. It's cool seeing people really try to branch out and do something totally different to the norm of just, here is a crab. Here's a humanoid standing crab from Japan with lily pads and cherry blossoms and bubbly blue. Such a unique idea. I mean, this man's full of ideas. Cool lighthouses, standing crabs with lily pads and trees. What can't he do? I also love the sort of crab armor, I guess that's what you call it, that's sort of there on the lower legs, using those dark red sort of quarter tile dots pieces there. It very much looks like that of a sort of, the carapace of a crab. It's nice. On to the second last crab. This is by Alex Mox, and this is SCUTL Mobile Tank. Not Mobile Crab, Mobile Tank. I adore this. This is fun. So this uses a video canister piece from one of those elusive video sets. You know, those ones that you can never find in stores and are not there 30 to 40% off all the time. There's very hard to find sets. But it's great to see this quite nice piece being used. I think I have one here in my I'm going to close that drawer. It's overflowing. I have some myself, and seeing this, I was very tempted to do something similar, which actually did kind of inspire my crab, because Alex built this before I built mine. And it's just a cool design, this sort of like aquatic aquarium thing that is sort of making up the shell of the crab. What a cool idea. And the fact that it's a crab driving a larger crab mech, great idea as well. The inclusion of this interesting kind of trans blue tube piece, which that comes from one of the older Millennium Falcon Star Wars sets. There's something nice about that. Obviously, I mean, you could if you wanted to. I don't know how airtight this container here is. You can't actually fill this with water, But the inclusion of that tube being blue, it really gives me the idea that, like, oh yeah, water's passing through this. Although the fact that it looks like an aquarium, you still kind of get the idea. But it's a lovely detail, and that sort of pop of blue really lifts this MOC a lot, I think. Again, Keats orange eyes there. I think that's another beautiful pop of color. And some really nice sticker placement too. Some of these sort of like just numbers and things on the white of the sort of shell tank. There's a little caution sign here, or caution symbol, or just stripes, whatever you want to say it is, on the pincers. And these arrows on those ski pieces, the ones we saw before on the feet. Very nice, very nice. Just adds a nice little pop and adds a bit more white to the design as well. It's a little bit more subtle, but it kind of ties the colors together. It's very nice. So yeah, a really, really awesome concept. Love these more mechanical pincers here. Such a cool MOC by Alex. Love what you've done. The final MOC. This is by Ivan Martinov, and this is Midwife. So this is a really cool concept. It's kind of like this weird, crazy brain crab thing that, I don't know, turns its brain matter into smaller baby crabs and then produces more crabs. I don't know, it's creepy, but it's really cool. And I love these popping colors as well. I was talking before how nice it is to see beautiful color schemes. Because this MOC, of course, is a digital render, there's a few other different pictures on Discord, which I didn't ask if I could share, so I'm not going to. But he was kind of playing around with a lot of different colors for this, just really experimenting with it. And obviously it's a lot easier to completely change the color scheme in a digital render. I guess if you have Photoshop skills, you could take a photo of your actual MOC and change up the colors if you really wanted to. But hey, if you are a digital builder, don't forget you can do that, because it's a lot easier to do than just spend a few hours completely redoing the color scheme and stuff like that. But it's nice to see how important color can be, because that was a big decision when building this. What color is going to look the best, and this one does look very nice. I love all these crazy weird limb pieces, kind of, I don't know, feeding off of the brain and using it to produce more crabs. Those actual limb pieces do exist. They're not anything, illegally made on a computer, if you can say that. But they were very brittle pieces. I have some. They break very easily, unfortunately. They're a little bit of an older Lego part. So I guess that's another benefit of building in a digital render here, is that you don't have to worry about it breaking, because it won't. It's not a real thing, real tangible thing. The eyes are really cool too. The fact that this is one of the larger crabs in this collab. It's nice to see him, taking advantage of that and really going ham with a more sort of like larger, deliberate face design, which is a little bit creepy, which this concept in general is creepy, so it works very well. And a few other different unique pieces here in colors that, of course, don't exist, but when they do, you can create some absolutely stunning designs. And, of course, this little tiny crab that's being birthed here is very nice. I love how he's used some of those paint roller pieces to give the legs this really interesting angle. It's beautiful. And even the gears as little teeth there, crazy cool. Very nice. So a lovely little midwife crab here, and so many other great crabs in this crab collab in this slightly longer episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. I hope you very much enjoyed seeing these crabs. Don't expect to see a MOC from me and Biss ever again, unless I enter more collabs, which I probably will. So you probably can expect more MOCs from me in Biss in the future, but it's going to be a rare occurrence. This is a rare episode. If you enjoyed this collab, or you have a collab coming up yourself, and you would like that collab, or maybe one of your own MOCs featured on the Bionicle Inspiration series, that can be done. All you have to do is submit your MOCs to the submission email that's on the screen right now, or you just send me an email letting me know about your collab, whether it's coming up or happened already and you want it featured, whatever. Let me know and I'll do my best to put it in the episode. If you would like to see more from the builders featured in this episode today, you can check the links in the description to all the MOCs that you saw. Check out some of the other stuff these builders have done. And there's also links to my own social media in the description below. If you would like to see that, it is there. If you want to join my Patreon and see some bonus content, maybe you really liked this episode, well, there's more bonus stuff for you, like weekly podcasts and Q&As and other extra bonus videos and things, access to my private Discord server, all that sort of stuff over on my Patreon, so consider supporting that if you're interested. Thank you very much for watching. Love you tons. Happy building, and bye for now.